Good evening, everyone. This is Amit Kumar Singh, and welcome to the next session on quantitative aptitude placement training. And today we'll do probability and data interpretation. Data interpretation sheet, I believe everyone have got. So to solve the problem on data interpretation, it would be really great if everyone have their problem with them. So let's start the class with a very important topic, which is probability. So when we talk about this topic called probability, when we talk about this topic called probability, so basically the formula of probability is favorable outcome. When we talk about formula of probability, formula is favorable outcome divided by the total outcome. So this is the formula of probability. That probability formula is favorable outcome divided by the total outcome. This is the formula of probability. So when you define total outcome is the sum of favorable outcome. Total outcome is the sum of favorable outcome plus unfavorable outcome. So when we talk about probability, probability is basically means a favorable outcome divided by total outcome. So when we talk about total outcome, but it is the sum of favorable plus unfavorable. So by this you can easily understand mathematically. If we see the value of probability, mathematically probability give you answer in a proper fraction between 0 to 1. Probability always gives you value between 0 to 1. If you talk in the term of fraction, so probability will give you value between 0 to 1. Sometime in books and all, it is written in percentage also. So it doesn't matter if it's written in that form of percentage, then it will have a value between 0 to 100%. So when we talk about probability, probability gives you value between 0 to 1, where 0 means uncertain event and 1 means certain event. So the set of action which is being used in working on random experiment in probability, that set of actions is called as events. So when we talk about events, the events can be independent events, they can be dependent event, they can be mutually exclusive events, they can be equally likely events. So such events can be defined in that way. So when we talk about probability, we need to understand, uh, either we talk about probability or either we talk about permutation combination. They are based on random experiment. So before we talk about experiment, let's try to understand the term called experiment. So experiment means a set of action which is being used to get the desired result is called as experiment. Now, when you work on experiment, so the set of actions what you have followed to get that desired result, that set of actions were called as event, and such kind where you know the outcome. Only thing you just measure the possibility of getting that outcome. That is called random experiment. So when we talk about random experiment, like if you throw a dice, you know the outcomes. The outcomes, if you throw a dice, would be either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So if you throw a dice, you'll never get an outcome called 7. So the set of all possible outcome what you can get whenever you work on random experiment under probability, that set of possible outcome is called a sample space. Okay. Now, coming back to this topic called probability, when you see this topic called probability, probability basically means favorable outcome divided by total outcome. So there's a two which you should know. One term is called odd in favor. One term is called is odd in favor. What is odd in favor? So when we talk about odd in favor basically means favorable outcome divided by unfavorable outcome. So that is called as odd in favor. So when we talk about odd in favor, what is odd in favor? Favorable outcome divided by unfavorable outcome. That is called as odd in. When we talk about next terminology, that the next terminology is called odd against favor. The next terminology which is called as odd against favor. So when we talk about odd against favor is unfavorable outcome. Odd against favor means unfavorable outcome divided by favorable outcome. That is called odd against favor. So in probability, we should know three terms. One is probability, the other one is odd in favor, and the third one is odd against favor. Three terms we should know, where probability means favorable divided by total, odd in favor means favorable by unfavorable, odd against favor means unfavorable by favorable. So imagine your probability, is 5 by 43. Imagine your probability is 5 by 43. Then if your probability is 5 by 43, then odd in favor would be 5 by 38, 5 by 38, and odd against favor would be 38 by 5. You should be clear with these terms, probability, odd in favor, odd against favor. Certain time when you solve the problem, instead of data given in probability, they may give you data in odd in favor or odd against favor. Okay, so if you see this question, if you see this question number 4, you see this question number 4, if you see this question number 4, so a bag which contained 4 white, a bag it contained 4 white and 5 black ball. If there's a bag which contained 4 white and 5 black ball, a man draw 3 ball at a random. So there's a bag which contained 4 white and 5 black ball. A man he withdraw 3 ball at a random. So what is the odd against being these all black? So what is the odd against being these all black? So I'll find probability that all 3 ball black. Probability that all are black. So I can find this probability that all 3 balls are black. So what is the probability that the first ball is black? That is 5 by 9. Okay, the total 9 balls are there, out of which 4 are white, 5 is black. The probability that the second ball is black is 4 by 8, and then the probability that the third ball is black is 3 by 7. You have to understand this, and when you see you want all the 3 ball black, so in how many ways can you arrange this? So in how many ways can you arrange it? So you will not you will arrange it this in one way only. Now if you want to solve this, so you can solve this. This is 2 times, this is 3 times, so probably you can give the answer called 5 by 42. So probability that all 3 ball is black is 5 by 42. So what is the odd against? What is the odd against? They are black. Odd against that. Odd against that they are black. Odd against that they are black would be 37 by. You can do like this way. So what you can find probability, and once you find the probability, you know that probability is nothing but favorable by total. Once you get the probability, then they are asking you odd against favor. So with once you get the probability, you can easily find odd against favor. I hope this is clear with everyone. So the thing is that in the chapter like probability, when you're solving the problems on probability, the thing is that if you can write it like this. If nothing is given, always understand, if nothing is given, we always follow without replacement. We always work on, in chapters like probability and all, we always work on a random experiment. We always work on a random experiment without replacement. We always work on a random experiment without a replacement till the time it is not given in the problem. So we always work on random experiment without replacement. So because you're working on random experiment without replacement, so the same problem you could have done by using NCR. So there are total 9 balls are there, 5 black, 4 white. So what is the probability that 3 ball are black? What is the probability that 3 ball are black? So we could have done directly 5C3 divided by 9C3. To do 5C3 by 9C3, 5C3 is 10. What is 9C3? 9C3 is 9, 8 into 7 by 3 factorial 6. You can solve this. So if I solve this, this is 72, this is 48. So 72 means 12 6, this is 12 6, this is 5, this is 6. So you got 5 by 42. Once you get the probability as 5 by 42, you can find the odd against black that you can do. So either you can do one by one, or you could have solved the same problem by using NCR. So only thing, if you use NCR, then you don't have to think about the possible cases. Then you don't have to work on order and all. But if you do not work on NCR, then you have to think about all the possible cases. If you don't work on NCR, then probably you need to think about all the possible cases. So that is the advantage what you will get if you use directly the question. You don't have to think of the cases. Here all the three balls were there, and so you don't have to worry on that part because BBB, so it is done or arranged in only one way. If in case this question they would have given like one black and two white, something like that, then it would have been done in different ways. So you have to think about the all possible ways also. And so imagine if I ask you the same problem. Imagine if I ask you the same problem, something like this. So you have to draw. Imagine if I ask you the same problem, like you have to draw three ball. You have to draw three ball. So two white and one black. Two white and one black. Suppose you have to draw three ball. Suppose you have to draw three ball, two white and one black. So if you use NCR, then it would have been 4C2 into 5C1 divided by 9C3. This work would be easy. But if you do not use NCR, so two white and one black. So you have to think in how many ways can you arrange it. So you can arrange this in 3 factorial by 2 factorial. Then you have to think about the white ball. So the first ball white is 4 by 9. Second ball white is 3 by 8. Second ball white is 3 by 8. And first ball black is 5 by 7. This will be your answer. Anyway, both will give you the same answer. But when you don't use NCR, so you have to think about the total possible cases. So it's your wish, whatever you feel is appropriate for you, you can solve the problem by that. But my suggestion for you would be start using NCR whenever you're solving the question on probability. That would be better for you. Clear now? I don't think anyone have doubt on this part. So going further, uh, going further. Now, if you see this question number, if you see question number 7, if you see question number 7, so the odd against an event, the odd against an event is 5 by 3. So the odd against the event is 5 by 3. So what would be the probability? 3 by 8. So if odd against is 5 by 3, so what is the probability? 3 by 8. And odd in favor of another event, and odd in favor of another event, 7 is to 5. So means what is the probability? 5 by 12. Okay. So I hope this is clear with everyone. Now, just giving little bit information. When you talk about probability, the set of action what we follow is called as event. The set of action what we follow in probability, that is event. Set of action what we follow, that is called as event. So this event, when we talk about this event can be independent event. When we have independent event, then probability of A intersection B is equal to probability of A into probability of B. So when you have independent event, then probability of A intersection B into the, I hope everyone understand what is the intersection B means. A intersection B means both A and B together. So then that is probability of A into probability of B. So now then we have something called dependent event. So when we, like this ball problem, what I solved you, so that was dependent event. So this ball problem, what solved, this ball problem, what we had solved, these all they were the example of dependent event. So if you draw one ball, the next ball what you're drawing, it depends on the first ball what you have drawn. Okay, so when there the event was dependent event. Okay, so so that event was basically dependent event. Now a event can be mutually exclusive event. Mutually exclusive events are those events which cannot happen together. Mutually exclusive events are those events which cannot happen together. So the it's like this. If you draw a Venn diagram, so it cannot happen together. They are mutually exclusive events. So probability of A intersection B for them is null set. They are called mutually exclusive event. Okay. So they don't have interrelation. So when you talk about the union, probability of A union B, that would be probability of A plus probability of B. Now, then event can be equally likely event. Event can be equally likely event. Equally likely event. Equally likely event means where every time you work on probability, every time you get the same outcome. So probability of getting success or probability of not getting success, every time that is same one. So, or every time equally likely, no, this would be the correct explanation. This would be every time you do an event, you get the same outcome, equally likely. So the equally likely, that is called an equally likely event. So every time you will get the equal values. That is called equally likely events. Okay. So normally I believe you have knowledge about probability of A union B. Probability of A union B is probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. That is, I believe, this formula. So when you talk about probability of A union B plus probability of A not happening and of B not happening, that is equal to 1. So we need to have minimum knowledge about set theory and all. Probability of A union B union C, that is equal to probability of A plus probability of B plus probability of C minus probability of A intersection B minus probability of B intersection C minus probability of A intersection C plus probability of A intersection B intersection C. So set three set theory. So in Venn diagram and all, in set theory and all, you have done all that. You have done all that. So you can do four set also. So that all, but four set and all is not required for us to know. So now if we solve this problem, now if you solve this problem, if you see this problem, so here you can see the odd against an event is 5:3. So means the probability for that event is 3/8, and odd in favor of the event is 7:5. So means the probability is 7/12. What is the probability that at least one of the event happens? What is the probability that at least one of the event happens? At least one of the event happens. At the two events are there, at least one of the two event happens. What is the probability? So you can solve this problem in many ways. You can write that this means 1 minus none of the event happen. None of the event happen. So none of the event happen. So that is that at least means that only 1 minus that none of the event happen. That is at least. So the probability that when they are independent event, the probability that A happens is 3/8. So the probability that A does not happen would be 5/8. Probability that B does not happen would be 5/12. So 1 minus probability that none of the event happen, that is 1 minus 3/8 into 1 minus 5/8, 1 minus 7/12. So 1 minus 7/12. So none of them happen. So none of them happen. So A intersection B they're talking about. This would be 1 minus 5/8 into 5/12. So this is 1 minus 25/96. That is nothing but 71/96. So this is one of the way to solve the problem. So this is one of the way to solve the problem. They are independent events. So once you get the probability that A happens, so you can easily find the probability that A does not happen. Once you get probability that B happens, so you can easily find probability that B does not happen. So this is the one way of solving the problem. You can solve this problem like one way. This is the one way of getting this problem to be solved. This is the one way of solving this problem. Anyone have doubt? Anyone have any doubt? So you can solve it. by using Venn diagram also. You could have solved this problem by using Venn diagram also. Probability that A happens, probability that A happens is 3 by 8. Probability that A happens is 3 by 8. Probability that B happens is 7 by 12. Okay, and so when you see the probability, they are independent event. So what is at least one of the event happening? They are asking you A union B. So A union B means probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection. So you could have solved it like A union B. At least means union they asking you. That is 3 by 8 plus 7 by 12 minus 3 by 8 into 7 by 2. But you could solve the problem like this way also. A union B. So if you use A union B, probability of A union B, this is nothing but 3 by 8 plus 7 by 12 minus 21 by 96 minus 21 by 96. So you can take LCM. So you can take LCM 12, 8, 12 and 96. I think 96 would be the LCM. This, if I go by 4, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, 2, 3 and 24. Then you can take 2, so this will be 1, 3 and 12. Then this will be 3, this will be 1, 1, 4. Then this would be 4. So 4 4s are 16 and 16 6 are 96 only. So you'll get the LCM called 96 only. Take LCM called 96. So this 12 3s are 36. 36 plus 8s are 56 minus 21. So this would be 92 minus 21. So we'll get the answer 71 by 96. This is the other way of solving the problem. This is the other way of solving the problem. So 71 by 96. That is the other way of solving the problem. Third way of solving the problem would be probability that at least one of the event happens. 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 So if you want that probability, so then it would be like probability that A happen. At least one of the event happen. At least one of the event happen means A happen, B does not happen, A not happen, B happen, plus both of them happen. So A happen is 3 by 8, B does not happen is 5 by 12, plus A does not happen is 5 by 8, B happen is 7 by 12, plus both of them happen is 3 by 8 into 7 by 2. Solve it, you get the same answer. You solve it, you will get the same answer. Any doubt? So here when two events are there, A and B, so when two events are there, A and B, what can happen? It can happen that none of the event happen, plus A happen, B does not happen, plus A not happen, B plus both of them happen. That is equal to 1. If two event is there, these are the possible outcomes. When they're asking you one of the event happen, they are asking you this. They are asking you this. I hope you all are understood. So at least, so whenever the question come at least and at most, so at least means so minimum that, and at most whenever they ask you at most, that would be the maximum. That is at most. So keep that in your mind. Sometime you can, if you see this, Tell me the answer for this question. What is the answer for this question? Try this question. Everyone try this question. Tell me the answer. Very good, Naveen. Very good, Sanjeev. Others. अवंती का गलत आंसर है. So everyone more or less got the answer correct. So if we get problem like this, probability that Bhavesh solve the problem, probability that Bhavesh solve the problem, Bhavesh Joshi. So probability that Bhavesh solve the problem is 5 by 7. Probability not able to solve the problem, probability that he not able, probability that Bhavesh solve the problem is 5 by 7. The probability that Bhavesh not able to solve the problem is 2 by 7. So if you give 10 problem to Bhavesh, so what can happen if you give 10 problem to Bhavesh? What can happen if you given 10 problem to Bhavesh? It can happen that all 10 problem not solved. It can happen that he could not able to solve any problem, or he could able to solve one problem and 9 problem not solved, or he could able to solve 2 problem and 8 problem not solved. He could able to solve 3 problem or 7 problem not solved. So like this, he could able to solve all 10 problems, all 10 solve, and that will be equal to 1. So you can understand this. Now 10 problem, all the 10 problem not able to solve. So this you can write 10 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One problem he able to solve, 9 problem not able to solve. This you can write 9 times. So 2 problem able to solve, them not able to solve. I hope you understood. This 8 times you can write. So like this. So in how many ways can I arrange this? This is, I can arrange it in one way. So all the 10 problem he not able to solve. So in how many ways can I arrange it? N. How many ways can I arrange it? N. How many ways? One way, then one way, then n. What is the probability of n? 2 by 7. The probability of n is 2 by 7. How many times 2 by 7 happened? 10 times. So how many times 2 by 7 happened? 10 times plus the, now how many ways can you arrange this? How many times can you arrange it? One solve, 9 not solve. How many times can you arrange this? This is 10 factorial divided by 9 factorial. How many times you can arrange this? This you can arrange as 10 factorial by 9 factorial. Instead of writing 10 factorial by 9 factorial, if you want, instead of writing 10 factorial by 9 factorial, you could have written 10C1 also. Doesn't matter. Whichever is convenient for you. You either write 10C1, or you can, if you don't understand, you don't like C and all, then better write 10 factorial by 9 factorial. Now probability that he can solve is 5 by 7. Not able to solve is 2 by 7. That is to the power 9 times. Okay, now 2 problem he able to solve, 8 problem not able to solve. So how many times can you arrange this? This is 10 factorial by 2 factorial, 8 factorial. And instead of writing this, written this as 10C2, this you could have written as 10C2. I hope you're understanding. Then this would be 5 by 7 square into 2 by 7 to the power 8. So I hope you're getting the logic. So more or less, when you're solving the problem, more or less when you're solving the problem, we need to understand for repeated trial, whenever we work on repeated trial, whenever we work on a repeated trial, the formula what we use is NCR P to the power R Q to the power N minus R, where P is the probability of success, Q is the probability of failure. The same thing yesterday I told you when I was talking about Pascal triangle and all. If you remember, or you remember that NC0 plus NC1 plus NC2 plus NC3 till NCN, that was equal to 2 to the power n. So the same logic we are using of binomial theorem. So till this, you can think about when all the 10 problem is solved. So that is nothing but 10 factorial by 10 factor means one way. So that is nothing but 5 by 7 to the power 10, and that will be equal to 1, and that will be equal to 1. Now what they're asking you, in this problem, they're asking the problem that at least one of the problem is solved. So if they're asking you at least one of the problem is solved, if they're asking you at least one of the problem is solved, so they're asking you this. They're asking you this one, at least one of the problem is solved. So they're asking you this. They're asking you this. So either manually you calculate what is there under blue color, or you can write the same thing that at least one of the problem solved. So at least one of the problem solved. At least one of the problem solved. So you could have written like this: 1 minus none of the 10 problems solved. None of the 10 problem solved. So in that case, if you write it like this, 1 minus 10 problems are there, and every time he is not able to solve, so that you can arrange it in one way, and every time your probability is 2 by 7 to the power 10. This is your answer. These are very common. These kind of question comes in bullet and all. So there's a bullet and all. So you are hitting a bird by the bullet. So probability that bullet will hit the bird is given this much. So what is the probability that the bird will die? So bird will die means 1 minus none of the bullet hit the bird. Because so if you are shooting 3 bullets, the bird will die. Either one bullet will hit the bird, either of any bullet hit the bird, or either of 2 bullet hit the bird, or all the bullet hit the bird. In every case, the bird is gonna die. So in every case, the bird is gonna die. So it doesn't matter first bullet is hitting bird, or second bullet, or third bullet, or first 2 bullet hit, or second third hit, or first third hit, or all of them hit. In every case, the bird is gonna die. So 1 minus none of the bullet will hit the bird. So that will give you the answer. So when you solve that kind of question, you get the answer very easily by that. I hope you can easily understand these cases. These cases are very important when you solve the problem in probability or not. So you can easily solve the question by that cases. And so you can easily solve the question by using those cases. Clear, no? So 1 minute. Like this question, same logic. This question number 24, the same logic, that probability that A solve the problem is this much, probability that B solve the problem is this much, C solve the problem is 3 by 7. 3 by 7. So if C solve the problem is 3 by 7, so if all of them try to solve the problem, what is the probability that the problem will be solved? A problem will be solved means it doesn't matter who's solving the problem. Either A solving, or B solving, or C solving, or AB solving, BC solving, AC solving, or all of them solving. In every case, you get the answer for the problem. So 1 minus none of them solve the problem. So what they're asking you, they're asking you, so what is the probability that the problem will be solved? When they're asking you what is the probability that problem will be solved, means they're asking you at least they're asking you the word at least the problem will be solved. So 1 minus none of them solve the problem. So 1 minus 1 minus 4 by 5 into 1 minus 2 by 3 into 1 minus 3 by 7. So that will give you the answer. One of them will solve the problem. I hope everyone is understanding. Same like this question number 25. A man hit a target once in 4 shots. So it means probability that he hit the target is 1 by 4. So if he fire 4 shots, what is the probability that he hit his target? So probability that he hit the target. If he shot 4 shots, what is the probability that he hit the target? So 1 minus. So none of the shot hit the target. So that is the answer. No, 4 shot, not 3 shot. 4 more shots. So this is 1 minus 3 by 4 to the power. That is 1 minus 81 to the power 256. That will be the answer. 175 by 256. And I hope everyone is understanding. So you can the first question what I did, I just did for explanation. Remaining you can do easily. Whenever you get the problem, you just need to substitute the value, you will get the answer. So this, if you see this question, an anti-aircraft gun can fire 4 shots at a time. The probabilities are different of every shot. First shot, second, third shot, 4 shots, and their probability is given to you. So what is the probability that the aircraft will be down? So again means they're asking you at least again 1 minus none of the shot hit the whatever aircraft. So you do that, you will get the answer 1 minus 0.7 into 1 minus 0.6 into 1 minus 0.5 into 1 minus 0.4. Do this, you'll get the answer. So here all these events are independent events. So because they are independent events, so the probability of A1 intersection of A2 intersection of A3 intersection of A4, that is nothing but probability of A1 into probability of A2 into probability of A3 into probability of A4. That is giving you the answer. I hope this is getting, everyone is understanding. Now, if you see this question, A speak truth in 60% of cases, B speak truth in 70% of cases. What is the probability that they will do the same thing while describing a single event? That if both will lie, they will tell the same lie. So this is very kind of not important question, but it's very common question. This is one of the very common question of many exam. What is the probability that they will say the same thing? They will do the same thing. They will do the same thing. What is the probability that they will do the same thing? Means both will tell the truth. Means both are telling truth. Both are telling truth. Both are telling truth. Or both are telling lie. Or both are telling lie. So in this case, both will tell the same thing. So either both are telling truth, so they are telling truth, that is 0.6 into 0.7 plus if they're telling lie, that is 0.4 into 0.3. So that way they will get the same answer. So both are so what is the probability that they will do the same thing while describing a single event? So means how they can describe a single event same wise. So either both will tell truth at the same time or both are telling lie at the same time. In that case, they can see the same thing while describing a single event. Clear? Anyone have doubt? So you can solve these questions. Now try this question 21 and 22. Try this question 21 and 22, everyone. Correct answer, Sanjeev. Anyone have doubt? 21, 22, anyone have doubt? Twenty-one, 22. So two-person should have birthday on the same date. So you have to understand, suppose the first person, their total 365 days in the year. So the first person can have birthday on any date. The first person, the first person can have birthday on any date. Any date out of 365 days, any day can be his birthday. So now if suppose the first person have the birthday on 5th February, then the second person, in order that both should have birthday on same date, then the second person birthday should also on the 5th February. So what is the probability that XYZ have a birthday on 5th February? That is 1 by 365. So what is the probability that both the person have the birthday on date? That is 1 by 365. Is this clear? Now, talking about that out of 3%, 2% have birthday on the same date. So out of 3%, 2% have birthday on the same date. So here what I can do, 3% are there, what can happen? 3% are there, what can happen? All three have birthday, all three have birthday on different date. All three have birthday on different date. All three have birthday on different dates. Plus, two of them have birthday. Two of them have birthday on same date. Two of them have birthday on same date. Plus, all three, all three birthday on same date. All three birthday same date. So this should be equal to 1. Okay, so all three birthday on different date. So that will be all three birthday on different date. First person birthday is 365 by 365. Second person birthday would be not on that day. So suppose the first person birthday is on 5th February. So the second person should have birthday on any date except 5th February. Then the third person should have birthday on any date except these two dates. So I hope this is clear. Plus two of them have birthday on same date. So, so two of them have birthday on same date. So there are three persons are there. So three persons are there, A, B, C. So two of them have birthday on same date. So from three, how will you choose the two person? So three ways from three, how will you choose the two person? 3C2 means three way. So three ways you can choose two person, and 3 into two of them have birthday on the same date. So that would be 365 by 365. So two should have birthday on same date. So that would be 365. Sorry, that should be 1 by 365. That second person should have birthday on the same date. Into the third one should have birthday on any other date except this date. That would be 364 by 365. Plus all three of them birthday on the same date. So means 1 by, sorry, you can write this anyway. You can write 365 by 365 for the first one. Second one also the same date. Third one also the same date. That should be equal to 1. So they are asking you this, that at least two of them have birthday on the same date. At least two of them have birthday on the same date. At least two have birthday on the same date. They are asking you this. So can I say this is nothing but this is nothing but 1 minus that none of them have birthday on the same date. So this is nothing. This is 1 only. So 1 minus 364 into 363 divide by 365 square. So that is your answer. Or either you answer this also. Either you answer this, or this is equal to 3 into this would be 1 only, 3 into 364 by 365 square plus this is 1 only, so 1 by 365 square. You can check this. So your LHS should be equal to RHS, or if you do the total sum of this, you should get the same, you should get equal to 1. So you can check this. 365 square is 365 square. What is 365 square? 3 365 square is what? 365 square is 36 into 31 to 96 plus 36. That is 12, 13, 133, 133225. That is 365 square. And so 3 into 364. You can check that. So you can solve this, you'll get the same answer. 364, 3 12, then 19, 10, 1093. 1093 by 133225. You can solve this. Is it coming equal to this or not? And 363 into 364 is 363 square plus 363. So you can do all that calculation. So Vedic maths and all, you can use that for solving. You will get the same answer. Clear na? Anyone have any doubt? So this problem already you have done. This problem already you have done. This question number 2, what is the probability that leap year chosen at random will have 53 Sunday? That is 2 by 7. I believe everyone knows that. So leap year chosen at random will have 53 Sunday, that is 2 by 7. And normal year chosen at random as 53 Sunday, that will be 1 by 7. So I believe everyone knows that. So already I've done when I did calendars for you. So so you know that if you talk a question number 1, if you throw 2 dice, what is the probability of getting one prime and one composite number? Prime number, how many prime numbers are there? 2, 3, and 5. How many composite numbers are there? 4 and 6. So if you throw 2 dice, what is the probability of getting one prime, one composite? So you just need to draw the cases. So if you draw the cases, you'll get 12 cases out of 36 cases. So your probability will be 1 by 3. Everyone knows prime number, number. You can easily solve the question based on that. Dice problem and all, whenever you solve dice problem, whenever you have to solve dice problem, so dice problem, total cases total cases in dice problem is 6 to the power n. The total case in dice problem is 6 to the power of n. So if one dice, total case would be 6. If 2 dice is there, the total sum will be 6 square, 36. If 3 dice is there, total number of cases will be 6 cube, means 216. If 4 dice is there, then the total number of cases would be 6 to the power 4, means 1296. And so you know this. So in dice problem, that 2 dice problem, 3 dice problem, sum and all used to come in exam. So you can remember the shortcut. You can solve manually, or you can remember the 2 dice problem. 2 dice problem. If I'm asking you the sum, remember the sum. When you talk about 2 dice, the minimum sum would be 2. When you talk about 2 dice, the minimum sum would be 2. That it can be 2 or 4 or 5 or the 6. When you solve 2 dice problem, the minimum sum would be 2, then 8, 9, then 10, then 11, then 12. So 2 dice problem is there. The minimum sum is 2 and the maximum sum would be 12 and a 6 comma 6. I hope everyone is understanding. 2 dice problem, minimum sum would be 2. 2 you will get 1 comma 1 and you get 12, 6 comma 6. So what, how many ways are there? So this is one way, this would be 2 ways, this would be 3 way, this would be 4, 5, this would be 4 way, this would be 5 way, this would be 6 way, this would be 5 way, this is 4, this is 3, this is 2, this is 1. So if you remember this, you can save your time. It's not like you can't solve 2 dice problems anyway. Is very easy, but that way if you do, you can save your time. I hope you are understanding what I'm talking about. So when 2 dice you're solving, you can easily remember. You can remember this shortcut way. Otherwise, you can spend time in solving, or otherwise, if you know this, you can do it very fast. Now, if I talk about 3 dice problem, so if I talk about 3 dice problem, the 3 dice problem, I'm telling you the shortcut way. So the 3 dice problem, the minimum sum would be 3, 1 comma 1 comma 1. Then it can be 4, it can be 5, it can be 6, it can be 7, it can be 8, it can be 9, it can be 10, it can be 11, 12, or 13, or it can be 14, or 15, or 16, or 17, or 18. So 3 dice problem, the minimum sum would be 3, the maximum sum would be 18. So if possible, you remember this, it would be very easy. 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, 21, 25, 27. Then this would be 27, 25, 21, 15, 10, then 15, 10, then 6, 3. So you don't have to waste your time solving and thinking about the cases and all. So if you know this, it will be easy for you. So dice problem, very common in competitive exam. One of the very common question. Dice problem, one of the very common for the competitive exam. So you can do it like this way. So that way you can save a lot of your time. Anyone have any doubt? You're understanding, right? I'm telling you the shortcut. So this is the shortcut. 2 dice and 3 dice. If you want to write it down, you can write also. Imagine if I ask you this. Imagine if I ask you this. 3 dice are rolled together. 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 What is the probability? What is the probability of getting sum equal to 15? So 3 dice are rolled together. What is the probability of getting sum 15? So you can first you have to think of the cases. 15, how you get 15? 5 comma 5 comma 1, one case. Then 5 comma 6 comma 4. So then it is 3 factorial. 3 factorial, that is 6 case. And so you think of the cases. 5 comma 6 comma 4, in how many ways can you arrange? You can think of the 6 cases. 3 factorial. If I talk about 6, so 6 comma 6 comma 3 cases. So factorial by 2 factorial. Think of the cases. Then with 6 can I get more? So 6, 5, 4, that already I've done. 5 already I've done. Then what else? Then 4 comma 4 comma 12, 8. With 4 comma 4 comma can I get? No, with 4 I can't get. So with 4 I can't get, and 4, 4, 8 I can't get. So here, if I think of the cases, so how many cases are possible? 10 cases possible. Sum is 15. You can see here, sum is 15. So 10 cases are possible. So what is the probability? So probability is 10 by 216. So you can either do it like this, or if you know the shortcut, or you can think about the cases, you can get the answer. It's up to you, whatever way you want to do. And or you can break 3 dice problem. Whenever you get 3 dice problem, you can break 3 dice problem as 1 dice. So you can break 3 dice problem as 1 dice plus 2 dice. So you can break 3 dice problem, 1 dice plus 2 dice. You can break a 3 dice problem as a sum of, you can break a 3 dice problem as the sum of 1 dice plus 2 dice. So you'll get 3 dice. The total sum you want 15. The total sum you want 15. You can break 3 dice as the sum of 1 dice and 2 dice, and the total sum you want 15. So total sum you want 15. So 1 dice if you're getting 1. So on the 2 dice you should get 14. Is it possible on 2 dice to get sum 14? I don't think so. No, not possible. So in 1 dice if you get 2, then on the 2 dice you should get 13. Is it possible? No, not possible. On 1 dice you get 3. So on the 2 die you should get 12. Is this possible? Yes. How many ways this is possible? 12. To get some 12. One way only possible. Okay. Now in 1 die if you get 4, then 5, and then 6. Every time you should get a sum of 15. Here you should get 11. Here you should get 10. Here you should get 9. So how many ways this is possible? This is possible 2 way. This is 9. Here this is possible how many ways? This is possible 3 way. Here how many ways this is possible? 4 way. Then do the sum. The sum is 10. So the probability is 10 by 216. Everyone is understanding now? Anyone have doubt? Everyone is understanding, right? No one have doubt? Clear now? Now the same problem I can solve like this. The same problem I can solve like this, where x1 plus x2 plus x3 is equal to 10, where the condition is that, same problem I can solve where the condition should be that the x value should have value from 1 to 6. X value should have value from 1 to 6. The same problem I can solve like this. The same problem I can solve like this, where the x value should have value from 1 to 6. When you talk about dice, so you need to think about the values what you can sustain here. So you need to think about the value what you can sustain here. So what values can you sustain here? So you have to think about those cases where you should get the sum equal to 10. So if you talk about the sum equal to 10, what values can you sustain here? So if you remember the binomial theorem, in binomial theorem, you studied something called multimonial theorem. In binomial theorem, where you know the property, so the property says that the coefficient of x to the power r in 1 minus x to the power minus n is n plus r minus 1 ncr. So if you apply that logic, to solve this problem, so you have to solve this problem. That x1 plus x2 plus x3 should be equal to 10. So if you remember what you studied in multimonial theorem, so that a coefficient of x to the power r in 1 minus x to the power minus 1, so that will be equal to n plus r minus 1 cr. So you know this theorem. You just need to use this theorem. So you just let think about a random variable called a. Let's think about a random variable called a. Let's think of the random variable called a for x1. So x1 will take how many values? It can take value from a1, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Similarly, if you talk about x2, x2 will take how many values? It can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Similarly, x3 will take how many values? x3 will take either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So how many values x1, x2 and x3 will take? So the total values they will take is a to the power 1 plus a to the power 3, like that. So you just need to find the coefficient of, just to solve this problem you have to find the coefficient of a to the power, you have to find the coefficient of a to the power 10 in, if you can find the coefficient of a to the power 10 in this, you get the answer. Now you know that they are in GP. So now you can solve it further. So you can solve it further writing coefficient of a to the power, coefficient of a to the power 10. If you work on GP, the GP formula a into 1 minus r to the power n. This is a into 1 minus r is a to the power 6 by 1 minus a to the power 3. So you just need to find coefficient of a to the power 10 in this. Now you can go further. You can write this coefficient of a to the power 10 in, write this as a cube 1 minus a to the power 6 to the power 3 into 1 minus a to the power minus 3. So now you want the coefficient of a to the power 10. Here you are getting a to the power 3. So once you get a to the power 3 means now how many coefficient you are looking for? You are looking for only a to the power 7 coefficient. Now the same equation, I can write this coefficient of a to the power 7 in 1 minus a to the power 6 to the power 3 into 1 minus a to the power minus 3. I can write the same question like this way, because already I got a to the power 3 coefficient. Now I need to see the coefficient of a to the power 7. Now I can break this. Now I can break this coefficient of a to the power 7, coefficient of a to the power 7 in, if you open the bracket, a minus b whole cube, that is a cube minus 3a square b plus 3ab square plus b cube. So b cube means a to the power 18. So you have to find the coefficient of a to the power 7 in this. This is 1 minus a to the power minus 3. Now what coefficient you want? You want a to the power 7. You want a to the power 7. Now if you notice, this is a to the power 12. If you notice, this is a to the power 18. So they are much more bigger than a to the power 7. So ultimately they are insignificant for you. So what is significant for you? Only this. What is significant for you is only this. So you just focus on this. So I can write this the same problem as coefficient of a to the power 7 in 1 minus 3a square a to the power 6 into 1 minus a to the power minus 3. I can write this problem as coefficient of a to the power 7 in, if I open the bracket, so that would be 1 minus a to the power minus 3 minus 3a to the power 6 into 1 minus a to the power minus 3. Once you're done with this, now you can solve it further. You have to find the coefficient of a to the power 7. Now I can bifurcate. I can write this as coefficient of a to the power 7 in 1 minus a to the power minus 3 minus 3 into, now you can see here this is a to the power 6. If you see this equation, you want a to the power 7. Here this is a to the power 6. So you just need the coefficient of a in 1 minus a to the power minus 3. Now you know the formula. So I told you the formula that, so in multinomial theorem, what is the basic crux of solving the problem? So this is the basic crux of solving this problem. The coefficient of x to the power r in 1 minus x to the power minus n is n plus r minus 1 CR. So if I apply the same logic here, so this, so what is the coefficient of a to the power 7 in this? So x to the power r, what is r here? R is 7. Here, what is r? 7. And what is n here? N is 3. So what is the coefficient of this? So the coefficient of this is 7 plus 3 minus 1 C7 minus 3 times of, what is R here? What is R? R is 1. What is R? R is here 1. And what is N here? 3. So this would be 1 plus 3 minus 1 C N plus R minus 1 CR na? CR or CN. So 1 plus R minus 1 plus R CR. So CR, sorry, CR. So what is R here? R is 1. So here, so ultimately if you solve this, you'll get 9C7 minus 3 of 3C1. 9C7 matlab 9C2. 9C2 minus 3 times of 3C1 matlab 3. What is 9C2? 9C2 is 36 na? 36 minus 9. So 36 minus 9 if you do, you'll get 27. So this is the answer. So if you want the sum 10 in this problem, you wanted the sum 10, you wanted the, if you throw 3 dice, if you are throwing 3 dice, if you want the sum 10, so in how many ways this is possible? This is possible in 27 ways. So what is the probability that if you throw 3 dice, you get a sum 10? That is 27 by 216. That is your probability. Number of ways this is possible is 27 ways. You can do that with that shortcut formula what I told you. You can do that, you will get the same answer. Anyone have any difficulty, any doubt? Anyone have? So here you cannot apply the formula of that partition rule and all that. Those who understand distribution, they know about partition rule. So the distribution of identical to distant, when you are solving, you can apply partition rule for solving them. That all you cannot apply here. That will not apply because here the problem is that x can take value from 1 to 6. So if x cannot take all the values, or x cannot take non-negative integer and all. So the value what x can take is from 1 to 6. So this way of solving the problem, this is called multimonial theorem. Anyone have any doubt? Anyone, any doubt? Clear now? So if I'm asking you 4 dice problem and all, imagine if I ask you 4 dice problem. Imagine if I ask you 4 dice problem. So 4 dice problem, you can break 4 dice problem as a sum of 1 dice plus 3 dice. Like this, you can do shortcut, or you can apply multimonial theorem. Imagine 4 dice are rolled. 4 dice are rolled. What is the probability? Is the probability to get, what is the probability to get sum equal to what? Sum equal to what? 20. Suppose if I ask you. So either you can solve it through 1 dice plus 3 dice. This is a one way of solving. Or you can solve it by multimonial theorem, x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 equal to 20. And then you find the coefficient of, of x to the power 20 in x1 to the power x2 plus x3 to the power x4 plus x5 plus x6 to the power 4. Either you can solve like this way by using multimonial theorem, or you can think about the cases. So you think about the cases, x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4, you want 20. So think about the cases. Cases can be 6, 6, 6, 18, 2. It would be 2. So how many ways this is possible? 4 factorial by 3 factorial. 4 ways. You can do like this manually by using number system. You can use 6 comma 6 comma 5 comma 3. How many ways this is possible? So this is 4 factorial by 2 factorial. Then how many ways this is possible? 6 comma 6 comma. This is 4 comma 4. So this is 4 factorial by 3 factorial 2 factorial. This is 12. This is how much? 24 by 4. This is 6. And so you can think about the cases. Then 5 comma 5 comma 5 comma 5 1. Think of the cases. Then 5 comma 5. Then 6 comma 4. 4 factorial by 2 factorial. Again 12 keys. Now if you do the addition of this, 12 plus 12, 24. Then 10, 34 plus 1. So if you do like this, you'll get the answer 35 by 1296. So it's all up to you. Whatever way you want to do, you can solve the problem, you'll get the answer. Anyone have any doubt? Anyone, any doubt? Anything you want to ask? I hope everyone is listening to me. So now it's silent. Harshini also now she's not writing no doubt sir, no doubt sir. Before she used to write no doubt, but now she stopped writing also. Clear now? Everyone understood now whatever I'm doing. So you can talk about dice problem. You can talk about dice problem. So dice problem, I told you a lot of ways of solving dice problem. You can go ahead, you can talk about coin problem. So when you talk about coin problem, so when we're talking about coin problem and all, if we talk about coin problem, so that you can apply the direct shortcut formula for coin problem. The direct shortcut formula is NCR by 2 to the power n. So if you solve coin problem, you can apply the shortcut formula, that is NCR by 2 to the power n. If you do, you'll get the answer very easily. So that is the coin problem. You can easily get the answer by using this. Now going further, you can talk about cards. So when you talk about playing cards, so there are 52 playing cards are there. The 52 playing cards are there. So out of 52 playing cards, 26 cards are red in color. 26 cards are red in color, and 26 cards are black in color. So this is the pattern. So when we talk about cards, there are 52 playing cards are there. 26 are red, 26 are black. When you talk about this red card, so red card are either heart or either they're diamond. So black card are either their spade or they're either club. Black card are either spade or either their club. So these are called suit. These we call them as a suit. So these we call them as a suit. So suit can be diamond, spade, diamond, heart, spade, club. So we call them as suit. The name what we give to them is called a suit. So when you talk about this red card, so every suit will have 13 cards. When you talk about suits, every card you will have every pattern. That pattern is called suit, and every pattern you have 13 cards. So you have 13 cards in every pattern. You have 13 cards in every pattern. When you talk about these 13 cards, 9 cards are numbered. 9 cards are numbered cards. 9 cards are numbered cards, and 4 cards are honored cards. 9 cards are numbered card and 4 cards are honored cards. So when you see the numbered card, number cards are having numbered cards are having number from 2 to 10. When you see the numbered card, they have a number from 2 to 10. When you see the honored card, if you see, They can be king, they can be queen, they can be jack, or they can be ace. So they are honor card. Out of 4 honor card, king, queen, and jack have a figure, while the ace does not have any figure. So this basic knowledge we need to have. So because many times the cards problem and all comes in exam. So many times card problem will come for exam. So if you see this, just try question number 27, everyone. Everyone try question number 27. So if 3 cards are drawn from the pack of 52 card, what is the probability that aura is? So that would be 4c3 by 52c3. So I want answer in NCR only. So 3 cards I draw. So 3 cards I've drawn from the pack of 52 cards. So what is the probability that all the 3 cards is ace? So probability that the first card is ace is 4 by 52. Second card is ace is 3 by 51. The third card is ace is 2 by 50. So all are in ace. So ace is ace. Number of ways you can arrange them is one way only. So you can write this as in the form of you can write this in the form of one only. So number of ways is one only. I hope you're understanding. Try others. Hmm. So the second one, if I talk about the second one, if I talk about second one, so if I talk about second one, so all are ace. So you're drawing all ace. So all are ace. So ace of spade. So how many ace of spade is there? Only one, na? 1 by 52. How many ace of club is there? Only one. 1 by 51. So you pick one card, and then ace of diamond. How many are there? 1 by 50. You can either write like this, or you can write this as nothing but 52 P3. And no need of getting Avantika ye, no need of finding this answer 52 into 51 into 50. All that you don't need to do. You have to understand this card and problem and all. You remember, no, you've done in 11, 12 standard probability and all. So there they will, if card and all problem will be given, then they will give you options also in NCR or NPR only. And so you should be able to convert that in the form of NPR or NCR. So all are in ace and drawing in the order spade, club, and diamond. So what? So out of 52 cards, how many ace of spade is there? There are four aces are there. One ace of diamond, one ace is of club, one ace is of spade, ace is of one ace is of heart. So ace of spade 1 by 52. So now 50 card is left. How many ace of club is left? Only one. So 1 by 51 into 1 by 50, that is nothing but 1 by 52 P3. All are spade. All are spade means what? 13 card are there. You want all the three card to spade. 13 C3 by 52 C3. No need to get correct that answer in like fraction and all. I want answer in NCR only. Clear na? So now the next part, all should be same suit. All should be same suit. You draw three card. You draw three card. You draw three card, and you draw three cards, and all of same suit. All of same suit. All of same suit. All of same suit means all three are diamond. Same suit. So there are four suit is there. So all three are diamond plus all three are spade plus all three are hurt plus all three are or what left club. So what, so there are 13 diamond, 13 spade, 13 hurt, 13 club. So this would be 13 C3 plus 13 C3 plus 13 C3 plus 13 C3 divide by 52 C3. So this is nothing but 4 into 13 C3 divide by 52 C3. So you draw three card and all should be of same suit. You draw three card and all should be of same suit. So all three can be diamond, all three can be heart, all three can be spade, all three can be club. Clear na? Anyone have any doubt? Anyone any doubt? Clear na? Any no one have any doubt? Everyone understood. Okay, uh, now so no two card of same suit. So no two card, no two card, no two cards are of same suit. Are of same suit. No two cards are of same suit. You're drawing three cards. You're drawing three cards, and they all three should be of different suit. So how many suits are there? Diamond, spade, club, and heart. There are four suits are there. So you want three card and all should be of different suit. So they can be diamond, spade, club, or they can be diamond, spade, heart, or they can be of spade, club, heart, or they can be of diamond, club, heart. है ना? So four suits are there, and if you use this four suits, so you are picking three cards. You are picking three cards, and all the three cards would be a different suit. So how this is possible? So this is 13C1. All three should be a different suit. 13C1 into 13C1. Four cases you drawn. So this is again 13C1 into 13C1 into 13C1. So like this. So your final answer will be, if you write NC 4C3 or 4C1, so you can write 4C3 if you want. 4C3 into 13, 13 cube means 13C1, 13 into 13 to 13. 13C1 everyone knows is 13 only. Divide by 52C3. Divide by, what is that? Why is not coming? 52C3 divide by, what is happening? Divide by, why my pen is not working here? Divide by 52C3. Divide by 52C3. Or you can write 4 into 13 cube divide by 52C3. So you can write 52 into 51 into 50 by 6. Whatever you want, you can make it simple. You want, you can solve it also. Doesn't matter for me. Whatever is convenient for you, you can want, you can do that. That is none of my business. This is 17. This is 25. You can make it more simple. Whatever 13 cube is 2197. All that you want, you can go further. Your wish is all you wish for. More of less. This is an answer. I hope you have understood this. I hope you have understood this and all. Hmm. So if you see this question number 24 and all, if you see this question number 24 and all are like same kind of question. So a doctor claims that the 60% of his patient are he examines are allergic to some kind of weeds. So probability that a patient is allergic is 0.6. Probability that the patient is not allergic would be 0.4. Okay. So what is the probability that exactly three of the next four patients he examines are allergic to weed? Means if he examines patient, what is the probability that exactly three of the next four patients are allergic to weed? So this is what, so if he's examining four patients, what is the probability that exactly three of the next four patients are allergic to wheat? So out of the next four patients, three should be allergic. So in how many ways can you arrange this? So this you can arrange this in 4 factorial by 3 factorial, and for allergic the probability is 0.6 and that is coming 3 times, and non-allergic is 0.4. You can solve this, you can get the answer. This is 4 into this, you can write 3 by 5. So 3 cube is 27 by 3 by 5 na? 3 by 5, that is 125. This is 2 by 5, this is 2 by 5. You solve this, 27 8 za 27 8 za is 216. 27 8 za is 216 by 625. This is your answer. Exactly, if you want, you can apply, you would have applied the formula of that NCR e to the power r. Exactly, if you wanted, you could have applied the formula of NCR e to the power r q to the power n minus r. That is a formula of random trial you could have done. So your wish, you could have done by that way also. Ultimately, it depends on you. Whatever you want, you can solve the problem like that. So the idea is very clear. Whenever you get the question, you should know how to solve the problem. So I will send you. So now the next thing in probability, the next thing what we should know in probability is something called Bayes theorem. In probability, the next thing what we should know is Bayes theorem. So when you talk about Bayes theorem is basically it is inverse conditional probability. It is basically inverse conditional probability. So I believe you know about conditional probability, probability of A by B. What is probability of A by B? Probability of A by B means 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 what is the probability that A will happen given that B has already happened. That is called as conditional probability. Probability that what is the probability that A will happen given that B has already happened. So when we work on conditional probability, we know probability of A intersection B is probability of A into probability of B by A. And in conditional probability, we have studied this. And probability of A intersection B is probability of B into of probability of A by B. So all this we have studied in conditional probability. What is Bayes theorem? So Bayes theorem is the inverse conditional probability. Whatever you studied in conditional probability, we are doing opposite of that. Normally, when we solve the problem on probability, we figure out what is the probability that this will happen. If you pick a ball from the bag, what is the probability that you get this color back? What is inverse conditional probability? Where you know the outcome. Here they are giving you the outcome that there are like two groups of bag is there. So you can see here two groups of bag is there. So this is two groups of bag is there. Suppose group A and group B. So the two groups of bag is there. Group A and group B. So in group A you have 3 bags, and in group B you have 2 bags. And so there are 2 groups are there. So each containing 5 white. There are 3 bags each containing 5 white and 2 black ball. 5 white and 2 black ball, and there's another which contain 2 bags each containing 1 white and 4 black ball. 1 white and 4 black ball. A black ball has been drawn. So you got, here you are telling, here you got the output. Here we have got the output. We are trying to measure the input. So the output is you got the black ball. So output is you got the black ball. So what is the probability that you get a black ball from group A? So that is 2 by 7. What is the probability that you get a black ball from group B? That is 4 by 5. So here you got the output that you got a black color ball. So what they are asking you, they are asking you that a black ball is being drawn. Find the chance that it is from group 1, first group. So they are asking you find the chance that is from group 1. So they are asking you, so you got a color ball. Now they are giving you the output. The output is that you got a black color ball. That is the output. The output is that you got a black color ball. What is the probability that you got it from group A? So that we saw, like what is the probability of getting group A into what is the probability of getting black color ball from group A divided by total number of cases. Probability of selecting group A into probability of getting a black color ball from group A plus probability of selecting group B into probability of getting black color ball from group B. So this is called Bayes theorem. So for your placement and all, you can expect question on Bayes theorem. So group, you can see group A 3 bags are there, group B 2 bags are there. So what is the probability that selecting group A? That is 3 by 5. So what is the probability of selecting group B? That is 2 by 5. And you can easily understand. So probability of selecting group A is 3 by 5. Probability of selecting group B is 2 by 5. If nothing is given like that, so you take 1 by 2, 1 by 2. Suppose there are 2 groups. There are 2 bags. Are there bag 1 and bag 2? So then probability of selecting bag 1 is 1 by 2. Probability of selecting bag 2 is 1 by 2. So A is 3 by 5 and 3 by 5 into 2 by 7. Now you can solve it. 3 by 5 into 2 by 7. So divide by 3 by 5 into 2 by 7 plus 2 by 5 into selecting black color ball 4 by 5. So you can solve this. That you will get. This is called Bayes theorem. So if you solve this, you'll get the answer 13 by 14. This is called Bayes theorem. Now I have sent you the DI. I have sent DI sheet to everyone. So DI sheet everyone got now. One minute. So everyone, I think I've sent you the DI sheet. Everyone got the DI sheet. So now when we this DI sheets, you can try to solve from yourself. These are easy problem on data interpretation. Data interpretation nowadays is getting more famous nowadays. So a lot of problems on data interpretation comes where you get the problem based on line diagram or bar diagram or pie chart and all. But then to solve that, you need the logic on arithmetic, whatever you have studied. So if you see these questions, if you see this question number 9 to 13. So for solving the question on 9 to 13, you need the logic of simple interest and compound interest. Similarly, like this, if you to solve the question from here, probably this question from 14, you need the logic of profit and loss. So when we talk about data interpretation, you get a questions probably based on numbers where some diagrams will be given. So such things comes under data interpretation. So you get a problem on line diagram or bar diagram or pie chart or mix chart or table diagram, then caselets, data sufficiency, all that forms of questions will come. So you have to read the question, and then based on the data what is given in the question, you need to solve the question. Solving question, you can solve the question very easily. It's not at all difficult to solve these kind of questions. But they are direct questions. Like if you see this question number 4 to 8, if you see this question number 4 to 8, if you see the question number 4 to 8, here given, they are giving you two data. This is distribution of candidate who are enrolled for MBA entrance exam and the candidate out of total enrolled who passed. The candidate enrolled is this much, and they're giving you some data about some institutes are given P, Q, R, S, T, B, X, B, all that is given. So then you got the data of candidate who passed the exam, the candidate who passed the exam. So this who passed the exam out of this they're asking you. So if P is 18%, so P is 18%, so they're asking you 18% of 5700 that they're asking you. 18 sevens is 126. So 126 then 90 is nothing but 1026. So this is 1026. So P is 1026. 18% of this. While if you see here the value P is 22%. So P is 22%, 22% of 8550. And so you can solve this very easily. This is 171 by 11. So this is 1881. So you can do this. So here the data is given like this. So here for the candidate enrolled, so this is the data for candidate enrolled and the candidate pass, this data is given. Now the solving is not a big thing. So if you see this question number 4, question number 4 is something like, so what they're asking in question number 4, so they're asking you that, so what percent of the candidate who pass from the institute T, so what percent of candidate who pass from institute T out of the total candidate who enroll from the same institute. So they're asking you, so like how much passed from institute T divided by how many are enrolled from T, that they're asking you in the term of 100. So how many are passed, that they're asking you in the term of how many enrolled from T. So how many passed from T? T is 9%. 9% of 5770. They're asking you 9% of 5700. That they're asking you. Then how many enrolled from T? How many enrolled from T? T is 8%. 8% of 8550. 8% of 8550. This they are asking you into 100. you just need to do this calculation. So if you notice, this is 9 by 8, this is 570 by 855 into, I can write this as 100. Now what I can do, this is divisible by 19, this is 1930s, this is 1945s. So 30 by 45, I can make it more simple. So this I can write 2za, this I can write 3za. Now if I write 2za, 3za, now if I write 2za and 3za, now I can, this is 3 3za, and now this is 2 4za. So ultimately you get 3 by 4 of 100, you got 75%. So questions are not difficult. You just need to do the question based on you whatever the questions data you get, based on that you have to read the data, and based on that you just need to solve it. So if you noticed here, if you are good in maths, sometime in exam and all, many exam they'll give you calculator and all, but if you use calculator, you're actually wasting your time. Anyone who can understand this 570 by 855, anyone who know the table of 90, they will easily understand that they are in the ratio 2:3. So if you notice this, so anyone who can break this code that they are in the ratio 2:3, for that person, this all will become very easy. So that is the thing. So that's why I'm telling you, even then in exam and all, calculator will be allowed for you. So, but how you can solve the calculation, how you can do the calculation without using calculator, ultimately that matters to you. If you do calculator, use calculator, so there's more likely that you waste your time, because using calculator sometimes won't be very easy solution, because anyone who's very good in maths, anyone who can easily, who know the table of 19 and all, he can easily understand how to solve these kind of things. So that is that should be agenda for practicing these questions. So you can, all these values and all, if you want some any kind of calculation you want to do. So suppose you see this Q is 15%. If you see Q is 15%, so you want, what is 15% of 8550? So you can find 10%. 10% is 855. So what is 5%? So 5% is half of that. That would be 427.5. So what is 15%? The 15% would be 1282.5. So you can do this. So you can do this. And so if I'm asking you this, if you see 17%, here S is 17%. So 17%, how I can do? Already I got 15%. If I add 2% on 15%, I'll get 17%. And so what is 15%? 15% already you know. 15% is 15% is 15% is 15% is 15% is 1282.5. Okay. So this 8550, what is 1% of 858? What is 1%? What is 1% of that? That is 85.5. So what would be the 2%? 171. The 2% would be 171. So what is 17%? 17%, nothing but do the sum. If you do the sum, that is 0.5. Then this 2 plus 1, 3. 2 plus 1, 3. Then 8 plus 7, 15. 1 carry, 2, 1 plus 1 plus 1, 4. 1453.5. So if we know that way to calculate, so I believe we can do the calculation without using calculator, that too very fast. So I hope you are understood whatever I've done. So you can try solving this problem. You can try you can try solving this problem and without using calculator. That is a sincere suggestion. So try to solve this problem by using calculator, without using calculator. So there are some questions which are very easy. There are some questions which are very easy. This is A, answer is A. This is B, this answer is C. So there are some questions which is very easy. So you can just need to draw you'll get easily the answer. So you draw it, you'll get the answer. So you'll draw that, you'll easily will get the answer. So some questions are easy, you can do directly. Some questions are easy. Some questions are little bit may look calculative, but it's not at all calculative. Some question may look calculative, but it is not at all calculative. You can do it very easily. You can can do it very easily. You can try solving it. You will get very easily. In case of any doubt, please come back to me. I'll help you with your doubts and all. So you can solve this very easily. So you can try solving this. So I hope then you can easily get the answer. So you just need to use calculator. Don't use calculator, and you need more concentration and more practice. So there are a lot of questions on DI is available in my a lot of websites you can refer. You get a lot of questions. First, solve these questions. If you have doubt, come back to me. I think today would be my last day. Now today would be my last day of this training session. I hope we'll meet you soon, but I don't know when we can meet. So till then, I can say thank you for all your time and patience. So before I wind up the class, I want to know if anyone have any doubt, anyone want to ask anything, please ask me. So if everyone is okay with everything, then we can wind up the class. Okay, guys. So thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you, Nishala.
Thank you, sir.
Take care, everyone.